Folks, this is media in action. Uh, as we were talking about before I stopped this, it took this long for somebody in the media corps to actually ask Pence this.
Right there.
Thank you. A question for you, then a question for the doctors on child care.
Sure.
On the campaign, it really does sound though like you're saying do as we say, not as we do. You're telling people to listen to local officials, but in Tulsa you defied local health officials to have an event that, even though you say it didn't result in a spike, dozens of Civic Service agents, dozens of campaign staffers are now quarantined after positive tests. And then in Arizona, one of the hardest hit states, you packed a church with young people who weren't wearing masks. So how can you say that the campaign is not part of the problem that Dr. Fauci laid out?
Well, I want to remind you again that the freedom of speech and the right to peaceably assemble is enshrined in the Constitution of the United States. And even in a health crisis, the American people don't forfeit our constitutional rights. And working with state officials, as we did in Oklahoma, as we did in Arizona, we're creating settings where people can choose to participate in the political process, and we'll continue to do that. I think it's really important that we recognize how important freedom and personal responsibility are to this entire equation, but allowing younger Americans to understand, particularly in the counties that are most impacted, the unique challenges that we're facing in their age group, we think is important. But look, it's so important that we recognize that as we issued guidance to reopen America now 2 months ago, and now as all 50 states are opening up our country again, people are going back to work, American everyday life is being restored kind of one step, one day at a time. I think it's important that we remind ourselves this is not a choice between the health of the American people and a strong economy. There are profound health implications to the lockdowns through which we just passed. I heard a statistic not long ago at a task force briefing that in one jurisdiction there had been a 50% increase in the number of people presenting at emergency rooms having attempted suicide. I mean, there are profound mental health issues. There are profound economic issues. People needing to be back to work, and so our objective here today is just to make sure the American people know. In 34 states, the cases are largely stable, and there's no combination of rising cases and rising positivity rates. That's a tribute to the American people. And in the 16 states we're focused on today, we simply want to equip particularly young people with the knowledge of the part that they can play in stemming the rising tide of new cases. Not because the coronavirus represents a significant threat to them. In most cases it doesn't if you're a younger American, but because no younger American would ever want to spread the coronavirus to someone who would have a serious outcome. But I'm grateful for the time today. We hope this has been helpful. And we'll be back. More information.
Oh, that was damaging. Folks, I want you to look at something before Pence walks off here, and I want to zero right in on the microphone. Note that he's not wearing a mask. Note that Dr. Fauci and her last name, are wearing masks. And note this, he is standing before a microphone that has metal that would hold the coronavirus, and a podium with material that would also, for a time, hold coronavirus. Therefore, if he is even asymptomatic and has the coronavirus and he touches the mic or even breathes on it, which he has been doing because he's been talking, he has set up the ability for somebody else to unknowingly become infected. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark oaklandnewsdown.com. And I have to say that the practice that they're taking right now is extremely dangerous. Protect yourself. Wear a mask. Also, wash your face multiple times a day. Everyone talks about hands and hand sanitizer, but if they say, hey, look, you shouldn't touch your face, then shouldn't your face be clean too? Just a point.